Hi, Tracy Thomas here, and I have a really strong aversion to judgmental people and judgmental conversations, and I didn't used to always be that way. I used to be extremely judgmental, and I think it has a lot to do with me having a low self-esteem and low self-confidence, and I feel like I was able to build myself up and feel better than someone by pointing out someone else's flaws and putting them down. I mean, I used to constantly, talk about people that were not smart enough or wise enough or intelligent enough or competent enough, or they weren't good enough at this and good enough at that. And it dawned on me that I have that complex about myself. Like, I, for so many years, didn't feel enough for anyone. And so I was constantly trying to prove myself. And I was driven by this need to feel good enough. And the way I dealt with it was by putting other people down. And now that I have been working through this and trying to get to the other side of it, I've realized how much I currently now have an aversion to that, because I've tried to rid myself of all the things that make me feel icky. And so it's not only toxic people and toxic relationships and people that are really negative. And I've stopped watching the news, because the news is just a constant rage of complaining about people doing things right and doing things wrong. And there's just so much judgment that I keep putting myself into that same rubric, trying to make myself feel good, whether or not I'm measuring up. Like, okay, according to that person's rubric, do I measure up? Am I good enough for that person? And if that person were judging me, would that person think that I'm good enough? And there's no amount of anything that I could be that is going to measure up in everyone's little magical goggles through which they see everyone and judge everyone. So what it occurred to me was that I just get to be me, and I know inside and out that I have good intentions, and I'm trying to be kind and show love and feel love and be love and express love and be generous and be kind. And these are all the things that I feel good when I do. And when I am, and when it comes out of my pores, that is how it makes me feel good. And it dawned on me how isolating it is to be judgmental, because you're pushing people away and you're making people feel that they are less than. But at the end of the day, you're the one judging everyone else and making yourself feel isolated. And I felt so disconnected from humanity. I felt so separated from the love that is out there, because everyone is just trying to feel good. That's what everyone's doing in life. They're just trying to engage in activities that make them feel good. And like me for so many years, many people believe that putting other people down and being judgmental and making other people appear less than by putting them in a box will somehow make them justified in that which they are and what they're doing. And so in this process, I've learned that I had to cut off many relationships. I mean, I attracted people that were judgmental because they would engage with me, and we could just, nitpick at people, and we could make people feel really, we would make ourselves feel good by pointing out everyone else's flaws. But that didn't work. That didn't make me feel good. And so I have quite a few relationships of people that I look back and I think about them, and I think about calling them, and it's like, I don't even want to engage with them, because the platform on which we bonded was being judgmental and hurtful and hateful and angry and dismissive of other people and other ways of living. And it just doesn't feel good to be engaging in those kinds of behaviors. I mean, a lot of us grew up with a judgmental parent or two, or a sibling or an aunt or an uncle, and that was just how we perceived the world, was, oh, you judge other people and you point out everyone else's flaws. But it doesn't have to be that way. And as I've come to terms with my own self-confidence and self-worth issues that I dealt with through this terrible behavior of being judgmental, I can now see how judgment is it's just a regular part of everyone's life. And so it's very important to cut off those relationships that are encouraging of that kind of behavior, and really just focus on the relationships and the friendships that point out the good in people and bring out the good. And there's no point in focusing on the bad, because those types of relationships are going to be harmful to you the way they were harmful to me. And I can't tell you how much fuller and more gladdened my heart is now that I have been on this new path for several years now. And I couldn't be happier. So good luck on your path towards positivity.